Good evening, everyone. I want to call the Thursday, February 10th, 2022 meeting of the Peninsula School District Board of Directors to order. If you'd please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any changes to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
It's been moved by Jennifer, seconded by David. To approve the agenda, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried and the agenda is approved. We are proud to have the Gig Harbor High School H2WO dance team here tonight to perform for us. And they are going to come in from the back. If you would turn your attention to the back of the room, you're welcome to turn your chairs around if you like. And we have a special performance.
Man at home. The club is full of ballers and their pockets full grown. And now you fellas leave your girl with her friends, cause it's 11:30 and the club is jumping.
It's ladies' night, what? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got the sugar, got the spice. Keep the rhymes right, yo, I just made this up last night. And I'm the rookie on this all-star team. Me and Kim is getting cream, like Thelma and Louise, but on chrome. Never leave that alone. So if you say it's on, then it's on.
See, this ain't nothing that you used to. Out of the ordinary, unusual. You gotta have a mind state like I'm so great. Can't nobody do it like you do. Miraculous, phenomenal. And ain't nobody in here stopping you. Show no love, cause you what's up. Look at yourself in the mirror like what the.
Run for cover.
It's a whole lot of money in this. It's a whole lot of money in this.
Now I'm back with the jump off. Goons in the club, case something jump off. Get back up for the high, but the pump off. In the graveyard is where you get dumped off. All we wanna do is party and buy everybody at the bar. Black Barbie dressed in Bulgari. I'm trying to leave in somebody's face. This is for my babies. With the Bentleys, the Hummers, the Benz. Escalade 23 inch rims. Jumping out the Jaguar with the Timbs. And keep your bread up, live good. East Coast, West Coast, worldwide. Stay fly. And I got all my sisters with me. And I'll rise this time. Oh, this is ladies' night.
That was awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite their coach, Shay Levine, up to the podium. She's going to tell us a little bit about the team and some recent accomplishments, and they're going to actually share another number with us in a second. So she's going to do some introductions. Shay.
Hi, my name is Shay, and I have the privilege of coaching these fabulous young athletes. The way I coach us is we always refer to everything as a we. So now that you guys are a part of our journey, you get to be part of our we as well. So we are so excited just to be able to be dancing again, and I'm just so beyond proud of, I call them dance athletes, of our dance athletes. We had tryouts in June, and we have been practicing nonstop since June, and the growth in our dance athletes has been absolutely phenomenal. And I'm just very, very proud of them. At our first competition, so they had 2 years without any dance team. At our very first competition, we placed first in the hip hop category. Yeah. And not only did we place first in the hip hop category, but we actually had the highest score of the entire competition. So it was super exciting to be able to have that, especially after not being able to dance for 2 years and then have that. And it's all thanks to their hard work and their teamwork. And I'm just super, super proud of them. And then one challenge that I gave them this year was to try to compete in 2 categories. So they haven't had a team in 2 years. And I'm like, let's compete in 2 categories. Why not, right? And they were totally up for the challenge. So we competed in hip hop. And at our last comp, we competed in dance comp. And they got first place in hip hop. They got first place in dance. And yeah. And the most amazing part about that is they've never competed in the dance category where they've won. And so to win an entire competition in a category they've never competed in, it's very difficult to do. And we're beyond very, very proud of them. So that's that. And we have a big competition tomorrow. We are currently one of the highest scoring 3A hip hop teams in the state. The Gig Harbor dance team, just a little history for y'all. It's been around for about 20 years. They've never won state champions before. 2 years ago, before COVID happened, they were trending to possibly become champions for the first time ever in the 20 years existence of the team. And no team for 2 years. We're back, and we're more ready than ever to go try to claim that state championship. So with that said, we also have nationals next week. The team has never competed at nationals, so we're beyond proud to represent our community, our schools, and our dance, and these amazing dance athletes. So I'm going to hand it over to them in case you want to ask them any questions. Our dance comp gals shall be ready in a minute. Also, just to also give them some more kudos, we typically don't dance on carpet. So if you notice, they're absolutely amazing. Typically, it's like, so this next routine is our dance. It's a contemporary style routine. Typically, you don't do pirouettes on carpet, so give them some grace on this next one because what they do is phenomenal. They can take any space and transform it. We practice oftentimes during basketball season in the Commons, and we call it our dance studio. We line up the tables and we create our own dance studio, and the adversity that these dance athletes work through is amazing. We can practice anywhere. We've taken field trips through the school to find a place to practice and to go through that, and then to still be taking first place going to nationals. So we're just very, very excited to represent our town at nationals in Orlando next week. And thank you all for your support. We need it all. So send us all your good vibes and energy and support. And thank you so much for having us tonight. And if you have any questions at all, please, they're here. And if you guys want to say anything, or do you guys, if you have questions for them, I think we're just waiting for our dance comp gals. So if you do want to ask them anything, we
all grades, freshmen through seniors.
We are.
What's
So
the
Faith
breakdown?
here is our 9th grader, and we have Michaela's a 10th grader, Ava's a senior, and Ren is a senior. But yeah, we have representation from every grade. We have 2 captains, Ashlyn and Noelle, and we have 9 total on our team. And some of them have never danced before. And to see their growth, I wish I had a video of tryouts and they can speak to this too, but it's absolutely stunning, the growth these dancers have had. I'm just really proud of them. So, yeah. You guys have any questions? Yeah?
Who does the choreography?
So we have, it's great, so a past Gig Harbor High School alum and a past Gig Harbor alum dance team member does our choreography for hip hop. And then I also work with a bunch of different dance teams, and I work with the Seattle Storm dance team. So I have been able to pull in some really great guest choreographers for us to challenge us, and also it's really important to me that I give the team a fair level of diversity in our choreographers and the guests that we have, so we're staying true to the styles. And we were blessed this year with one of my dear friends is a choreographer actually out of LA, and she did our dance comp piece tonight that you get to do. And it's we're really big on women empowerment, so our dance comp piece is themed Hey Girl, and it's just about uplifting women, and yeah, so I'm excited.
Are all members of the team required to compete at the tournament, or you just pick like your top 5 or 6 to compete?
So we do, we have tryouts for the comp. We have a smaller team, so everybody is competing. We have one that had an injury. So everybody but one is competing. We have 8 on the hip hop routine and then 5 on the dance comp. The dance comp's really difficult. It's got a lot of turns, and so with some of our new dancers, we're hoping that they'll join us next year in the dance comp piece as we continue to work on their skills. So, yeah.
I traveled to Orlando last week for work, and there was some dance teams on the flight with me. And so I just want to say I'm so proud that you guys are going to represent us down there, and we just are really proud of you and can't wait to hear how it goes. We know you'll be great. Thank you for coming.
Will it be broadcast anywhere?
Yes, so it will be live streamed, and yeah, I'll make sure I can send that to Tanya, and she can maybe get it out to everybody, or we can make sure that it's available. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. And we do have a competition tomorrow. If anybody wants to come out to Lakes, you're all invited to be a part of our dance family. So we're really excited. Yeah. Do you guys have anything to add? No, they should be coming.
Oh, I see them coming up. Okay.
Okay, good.
Is there a co-ed element? Are there any guys that?
We did have, so it's open. On many of my other dance teams I work with, it's co-ed, and so definitely if they score, we did have one male tryout. He was very close to making it, but not quite, and so we encourage them to keep working on their skills, and I do hope, I would love to have some male representation, and yeah, so, but yeah, there's no, it is co-ed, yeah. So everyone is welcome.
I think they're out there. That I saw someone peeking in.
Okay, they're probably like, is she so?
Hey girl,
have them scoot a little closer to the podium so they can be on the live stream.
I'll start down here. I know we introduced them, but this is Faith. She's in ninth grade, and then we have Michaela. Let's go ahead and wave. And then Ava, and one of our captains, Noelle, and she's also a fourth-year member of the team. And she's gonna hate me for doing this, but if it wasn't for her, she did a lot of the work to get this team up and going. I'm so proud of her because she went on her own. She's a senior in high school, and there's a lot she had to do to get the team back up and going after COVID. So super, super proud of her leadership. So thank you. Next to her is her actually her younger sister, Kaylin, and then we have Hayden and Brooklyn. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks again for coming. You guys just did a fantastic job. Good luck tomorrow and in Orlando.
Thank you so much.
I told you, you never know what to expect now when you come to the meeting. That was awesome. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Do we have any discussion on the consent agenda prior to our vote? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second? It's been moved by David, seconded by Chuck, to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the motion is carried. Consent agenda has been approved. Item number 6, recognitions. At this time, we'd like to invite Colleen Spear up to the podium. Colleen is the Executive Director of Communities in Schools of Peninsula and has some exciting things to share with us. Welcome, Colleen.
Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to come share with you tonight. As you heard, I work for Communities in Schools of Peninsula. For those of you who don't know, we're a national organization, National Dropout Prevention Organization. Our organization has been around for 44 years, and the affiliate for Peninsula was incorporated in the year 2000. So we've been operating in this community for 22 years. We have 17 qualified professional staff that work in the schools, both as a site coordinator positions and after-school program coordinators. One of our site coordinators received Site Coordinator of the Year with from our national office pre-COVID. Her name is Lara at Harbor Heights, and she's just one of an amazing team that we have. So the reason I'm here tonight, and those of you who probably read it in the paper and maybe heard it on the news, is that our organization was chosen from a large donation from a well-known philanthropist, and her name is Mackenzie Scott. So I got a phone call, just to give you a little context about what happened. I got a phone call on December 9th. And of course, we're wrapping up the end of the calendar year, and I picked up the phone and I saw Dark Horse LLC on my little screen. I was like, Dark Horse LLC, man, what does that mean? So I pick up the phone, and this woman started asking me these questions, and she said, well, I just want to tell you that I have a donor that wants to give you a large anonymous donation. And I said, oh, okay, well, can you tell me the donor's name? And she said, sorry, can't tell you that. And then she said, and I said, okay, well, can you tell me what company you work for? And she said, sorry, can't tell you that either. So I was like, okay, this is a scam. So I hung up on her. True story. So anyway, long story short, about 45 minutes later, I got a phone call from my national president, Ray Saldana. He was at the airport, and he said, Colleen, you just hung up on a very important person, so you better call her back right now. So I did. So I found out that we are 1 out of 40 affiliates in the nation. There's 110 affiliates in the nation. And this donor did extensive research on us and looked at everything that we have accomplished in the last 10 years and saw that we had best practices, that we had longevity of staff. All the check marks were placed in the boxes, and as my national president said, he said, we passed a test that we didn't know we were taking. So it was very exciting news. I had to keep it under wraps for 6 weeks. I couldn't tell anybody. My husband didn't even know what was happening until the day it was morning it was on CBS News. My executive committee didn't know the amount, but they didn't know who it was. And so I didn't, people were guessing constantly, but then it did air last Thursday. So it's been very exciting. So people are asking, where's the money going to go? That's the top question. Even the reporters were asking that question. I said, okay, well, there are two things that the donors letter said, is to expand our programs to scale and to ensure organizational stability. So those are the two things we're going to do. We will expand to meet more student needs. We haven't identified where or when that will be. It probably will start July 1st, though, and that's when our fiscal year starts. And my annual meeting with my board of directors is in June. So I've identified a task force to identify where we will appropriate those funds and how much we'll put for sustainability and how much will go into programming. Because of the rising student needs and the demand for CIS services, we can't meet every single need in the school district, but our goal is to be in all 17 one day. Our staff worked tirelessly during the remote, during the school closure, when the doors were closed at least, delivering food, delivering hotspots, basic need hygiene products, and meeting social emotional supports due to the trauma and the other isolation caused things that were happening to our kids. So we're proud to be part of the community. We're proud to be partners with the Peninsula School District. And we're just going to show a short 3-minute video that Tani's going to cue. And then I don't know if there's time for questions at the end, but if there is, feel free to shoot them at me. I'll get out of the way so you can see the screen. Thank you so much.
All around the world, and right here at home, kids are hurting. The disruption of life brought on by the pandemic has taken a serious toll. At communities and schools of Peninsula, our site coordinators are seeing students struggle like never before, academically, emotionally, and socially.
Well, our biggest challenge that students are facing right now is probably more in the social emotional realm. We have a lot of kids with anxiety and depression and just that routine after being off school for a year and a half.
Site coordinators like Robin are trained and equipped to come alongside students who need extra support, kids like Robert and Rachel at Henderson Bay High School. The siblings, who live with their 85-year-old grandma, have faced tough challenges and trauma since COVID-19 hit. CISP has helped provide them with basic needs like food and clothing and academic support.
Some things, like when we got back in school, were online and I wasn't able to do that, and so I failed some of my classes last year, but this year I'm able to make them up, which I'm sure I am, because I'm already doing really good, so that's what I'm proud about. So.
Well, when I first came to this school, I didn't know anybody, but I could tell she wanted to be there to support me in any way that she can to make me feel comfortable.
It's become clear during COVID more than ever the disparity of access to education for students in marginalized groups such as EL families, low socioeconomic households, and students with special needs. These are always been issues, but now we've been able to see how much it really is a struggle. And the access to internet was a huge barrier during this whole period of time.
CISP is finding creative ways to help students become more accustomed to being back in school. To re-engage students in learning, we're teaming up with our community partners and volunteer programs like our Tutors with Tales Therapy Reading Dog program and after-school reading and math mentoring sessions.
It's so important for students to have additional caring adults in their lives. I can see the need so much at this school.
Here at Henderson Bay, where we kind of function as a family, we're able to kind of really connect with kids and guide them in ways that help them with their future and empower them to feel good about themselves.
We have the staff, the programs, and the expertise to help ensure all students have the equity and support they deserve. All we need is you. Join us today in surrounding kids with a caring community of support as they take hold of their own futures.
Robin was really patient with me, which I really respected. She really showed me that she really wanted to be there and just be supportive in any way that she could. I honestly don't know what I would have done if she wouldn't have been here throughout the past 3 years. She has helped me a lot, and I'm really thankful for that.
I didn't want to be in the way of the screen.
That was great. I love that video. You know, I love this, seeing some of the site coordinators. Some of those, or maybe most of your site coordinators, the ones I know have been in these buildings for years, which is so cool because these kids really have relationships and they're not like they're just there 1 year and then gone. A lot of them go all the way through with these coordinators.
Right, and we've covered the feeder pattern. We've covered the feeder pattern on the Key Peninsula for years, so we can even track kids from one school to the next, and our site coordinators kind of hand them off and actually introduce them to the site coordinators before they even leave. And then, oh, there go the dancers. And then we're close to covering the feeder pattern on the Gig Harbor Peninsula. And I failed to mention, too, you saw a lot of our volunteers in the video, which pre-COVID we had about 130 volunteers that would, community volunteers that go into the schools for our after-school reading and math programs. Right now, with COVID, we have about 60. So we'll be ramping up, slowly but surely as things, the distancing is not so, regulatory. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great.
I'll just say I know we added another site coordinator this school year. I'm really happy about that. And this new money for you is just wonderful news. And I know that'll just help you moving forward. So
yes, thank you, David. And thank you for the school board for we hired a wonderful site coordinator at Goodman, and she's thanks to the district, and she started right after holiday break was the first day back after holiday break, and the team at Goodman and the counselors and the kids love her. She's great. Yeah, thanks.
Also, I just wanted to say that the thing, besides the obvious, getting any donation is always great, but this I love because it was not requested, and it just means that your work speaks for itself.
Thank you.
You do not even have to sell yourselves because what you do every day speaks for itself. So
it's a nonprofit director's dream, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to have comments from our student representative, Caroline.
Hi. My name's Caroline. I'm the senior at Gig Harbor High School, and I'm the student representative for the school board. A few things that I want to bring up from Gig Harbor, just things that are happening and things that we're excited about as a school. The Gig Harbor High School band members competed at the Commencement Bay Regional Solo and Ensemble contest, and 18 of our students placed first, and they're going to state, which is the most ever from Gig Harbor High School. So that's really exciting, and they did a really good job, and we're very proud of them. This coming week, we have a Spirit Week, which is Kindness Week, and all of our Spirit days revolve around love. The first day is Love, which is wearing red, white, and pink. And the second day is Love Yourself, so making sure to take care of yourself, which is Pajama Day, because everyone loves Pajama Day. Wednesday is Love Your Team, which is showing support and love for your favorite team, which is wearing your college or team jerseys. Thursday is Love Your Besties Day, which you can twin with your friend group, so you're wearing the same things. And then Friday is Love Your School, which is showing Tide Pride. So we're really excited about that. And that week is also Mad Week, which is Make a Difference Week. And we're having a food drive for the Gig Harbor High School food pantry. And if you don't know what that is, there's 2 pantries in the high school, and it's donated food that's available before, during, and shortly after school for all of the students if they didn't get a chance to get breakfast, or they're just hungry, or they have sports after school and they need something to just keep up their energy. And I am really glad, because I didn't know that existed for everyone. This coming week, next week. This week is Counselor Appreciation Week, and in our class we wrote letters to all of our counselors saying what we were thankful for them and how we appreciate their support. And then each letter was individualized. And then later in May, we're having our Auto Safety Week, and we're just doing some more planning around that. We have daily activities, we have the mock crash, and we're excited to have the help from the police and fire departments. And if you want me to go into more detail about the activities we have planned for the week, I can. You guys sure? Okay. Monday we're focusing on distracted driving. Each day we're focusing on something specific. Monday is distracted driving, so at lunches we're gonna have little toy electric cars for little kids set up, and we're gonna have a course set up, and there's gonna be people yelling or loud music and anything to distract people while they're driving on the course to show how easy it is to get distracted. And then each morning for the whole week they'll have special announcements pertaining to the specific day. One thing we are going to have out all week is a damaged car in our parking lot, in our front parking lot. That's going to be donated to us. And Tuesday we're focusing on drunk driving, and at lunches we're going to have the cars out in the course set up again, but we're going to have drunk goggles that were donated to us by the fire department that are very weird to wear. And people can wear the goggles and drive through the course and see how it affects their driving. Wednesday is influence driving, so it's kind of the same setup as Tuesday. We'll have the drunk goggles, the cars out, and the course setup. Thursday is going to be Day of the Dead, and during lunches we're going to have a memorial wall with an open casket with a mirror inside, so people can walk up to the casket, see the reflection in the mirror in the casket, and kind of see that influence. And we also might have a hearse. I'm working on that. And then Friday is our finale. There's the mock crash, which is kind of an all-day thing. And we're going to have help from the fire department and the police department for that. And that's hopefully going to be our big thing to try and get our point across and have it stick with everybody, because it is something that's really important. Moving on to lighter topics. We're excited to have pep assemblies again. We're planning our winter pep assembly, which is going to be recognition for all the winter activities, which is football, cross country, volleyball, boys tennis, girls swim, water polo, speech and debate, band, the fall play, and girls soccer. And we're also going to be supporting cheer because they placed 3rd out of 7 teams at state in their category, and that's very exciting. And then we're excited to start planning our spring assembly, which will be for the spring sports and activities. We are starting to plan senior events, which is prom. We have an idea that the main team for prom will be composed of seniors, because it's kind of our event. And then everyone else can actually do it. We're going to have a senior signing day, which is where each senior, not just the basketball players or the football players or the popular kids, each senior gets to explain their future plans for everyone. There's also going to be a senior movie night at the drive-in, but they don't open until March, so we have to contact them in March. We're planning a moving up assembly, which is really exciting, and then we have graduation on June 17th. And the last thing is our spring carnival, which we are starting to plan, and it's going to be kind of like a dance, but there's going to be activities and games, and it's also a fundraiser for the seniors. And that is most of everything happening. I learned my lesson from the last meeting. People did not like it, so. The last meeting I said that Gig Harbor High School wasn't doing too much, and my leadership teacher's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on in my own school. So now I have a lot of information.
That was awesome. Thanks, Caroline. Do you guys have any questions or comments for Caroline?
That was pretty in-depth.
That was great.
A comment about the Auto Safety Week. I think it's really important that you do it, and I appreciate that because it's something that our community is still reeling from. Last summer, a very serious accident happened and we lost a student. So I know that you will handle that very seriously, and it's hard to see. I've been through with other high schools where we've done the casket and you've had the parent notification and the mock accident. It really hits home. So appreciate that you're doing it, and I'm sure that our counselors will be involved to walk you guys through those steps as well.
Yeah. Another thing real quick, I just want to say that the mock crash is completely optional. So if people have a close tie to a car accident or anything, they're able to opt out, but we will have another activity for them to do. So it's not just like, okay, you can go home now. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Caroline, you don't have to answer this now, but I just wanted to learn a little bit more, maybe next time, about the senior signing day for everyone. I really love that idea, as there's so many different paths that people are taking besides just sports, and everybody, it's wonderful to share things like that. So, yeah, if you're able to give us a little more details next time, I'd love to hear more about that. Okay.
Thank you. Next is comments from the community, and we just have one speaker tonight, Carol Rivera. So you can make your way up. I have a lengthy list normally of rules and suggestions, but I'm going to skip them because I feel that you know the rules. Yes, just you have 3 minutes, and as you know, it is not the board's practice to respond to your comments tonight.
All right.
So welcome.
Carol Rivera, President of Peninsula Education Association. Just again, appreciate the opportunity to see the students and involve them. It's wonderful to celebrate that. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Olympics. I've been watching them. And I think that it's pretty amazing opportunity every 4 years, right, to go ahead and watch a group of athletes who had dreams, right? And I kind of was thinking about it as we're looking through our strategic plan and the purpose of K-12 education and how really we have these people who started somewhere with just an idea or a dream, and how along the way, they've had role models and people to look up to say, I want to aspire to be, right? And I think what also I was reflecting on was just the idea that it took a lot of people behind these individuals to have the support that they need, from their parents to their families to the pride of their community, and even on a national level, just everyone rooting for them. I think it kind of ties in a little bit with the celebration of our communities in schools, because it really does take all of us to bring success for our students. And it's not dance, sports, government, what school people are going into is something that I think with the goals and our plans that we really want to give students those pathways and those opportunities, and that it really takes all of us to do that. So funding and different things come into play, and I just was thinking about some of the athletes, and I only have a minute and 20 seconds, so bear with me. There was an athlete from Mexico who, it was the first time that he had made the the finals for that. And I was thinking about the stories that they shared about his opportunities compared to the training and opportunities that American athletes have. And so in his story, he practices in public ice rinks in the middle of a mall, right? With everybody watching and not preserved time and not coaches and not all the supports, yet he's there, right? And I just thought, imagine what we can do when we give our schools and our communities everything that we have, right? And put that behind our kids to just help them accomplish their dream. So to that end, I would just like to remind everybody that the legislative session is here, and this is where we take our budgeting and the bills that pass through them. And many of them support the work of communities and schools and our partnerships with mental health, nurses, and other pieces. So if many people didn't know, we have an allotment about what we get from the state, about 1.5 nursing individuals to serve all 9,000 of our students. So when there's a bill in the legislature to go ahead and enhance funding for our nurses and our counselors and our psychologists and those wraparound services to improve mental health and all those things, we need our community and everybody to be behind those funding efforts. Thank you.
Okay. I was going to say I could let you go another couple seconds if you want. Since you're the only one. Well, thank you so much, Carol. Next up, district reports. Superintendent Barr is going to tell us a little bit about the WASA Communications Review.
Yes, thank you. So I would like to introduce J. Marie Reish and team, and they are here to report out on the management review that is provided through WASA, which is the Washington Association of School Administrators. And I just wanted to give a little overview, and you probably will. Just the overall objective of a management review is to provide expert assessment of all aspects of school district management. So this is our first one. We are doing several others. As a new superintendent coming in, it's very good to talk with staff, but it's also good to get outside experts looking at our systems to see both our celebrations and the results. Using them are designed to be both an in-depth analysis of what is and a blueprint for what can be. So J. Marie, thank you so much. We have worked together in a past life, and thank you so much. Will you introduce your team? And the time is yours.
Thank you, friend. So I will start for just a couple moments to expand a little on what you shared in terms of how the WASA program reviews work, and then I will introduce my colleague Leanna Albrecht to come up and talk a little bit about some of the highlights that we found here in Peninsula, and then I'll come back and just kind of wrap things up, and we'll also we welcome any questions or conversation that you'd like to explore. So, thank you for having us here, and I want to commend you all for choosing to engage in this outside review process. And I also want to acknowledge right up front that part of what was really lovely about the opportunity for our team to come in and do this review of the communications program is that you all chose to do it as a process check-in, not because we were starting out from a place of having a concern to investigate. And I think that's a really powerful choice to make, and not everybody does that. Sometimes folks end up waiting or not seeking that kind of an opportunity to do a 360 review until or unless they see a problem. So I want to start with that as a grounding. We came in here as thought partners to bring that external perspective to your program and look for what's working really well and where are the opportunities for improvement and consideration of growth. And so when WASA does this, we consider this a peer review. And it's we bring together professionals in the area of that have expertise in the area of the program that's being reviewed. And so we brought together for this review, Leanna Albrecht has experience with a number of similar sized districts across the region and is highly respected and has been a officer with the Washington School Public Relations Association. Another team member that's not with us here tonight, she just wasn't available this evening, is Jocelyn McCabe, and she has worked with AWSP, so the Association of Washington School Principals. She currently works with WASA as their communications lead and consultant, and she's also worked with everybody from OSPI to the Washington Business Council. So she brings a little bit of a external business mindset to the review. And then I've got I am the former communications director for the Snohomish School District, which is a district very similar to yours, both in size and layout. And for the last 20 years, I've had a small business supporting school districts in levy and bond campaigns and crisis communications. So it's a team of people that have collectively somewhere around 60 years of director level experience in communications. And we came in, we conducted a number of interviews over 2 days with folks both internal and external to the organization. We then, as a team, met with each other, debriefed what we heard from those dozens of interviews, identified themes, and talked together about where we saw the opportunities. And so with that as kind of a foundation, I'd like to introduce Leanna to come up and share some of the highlights that you'll be seeing in that report.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. We greatly appreciated that, and I think so for the highlight pieces, we'll start with commendations, and first is that appreciation for Superintendent Barr and Communications Director Gordon for their openness with this process, as J. Marie was explaining, really having a focus on continuous growth and this new opportunity under new leadership as you're looking for where are we aligned, what are our future goals, and how can we continue to improve and grow within our role. So, and first and foremost is having a strong communications team within the district. Communications is critical for an organization, both internally and externally, in moving forward the board goals. And so having a cohesive team that we conducted interviews both internally and externally to see the scope of the work, and is the scope and the duties that they're doing aligned with the current district program, and we found that to be in place. We also looked at the function of the communications department, and they are very viewed as hardworking, viewed as focused and committed to moving the district forward and to supporting schools and community. We did find that those who are more connected to this team see that value. There is that opportunity, of course, to expand on those pieces, but they are seen as enthusiastic, hardworking, helpful, and you need that to support that internal and that external work. We also found that the team performs very well when expectations are clear, and examples of this outstanding work have included the bond communication, construction projects, special events, and importantly, COVID-19 communication support, which as a communications professional, navigating this global pandemic and recovery for the last 2 years has been a very wild ride. They have done stellar work on the capital projects pieces, and the importance with the COVID-19, which a lot of the community don't see. You see that communication coming out. You don't know the work that's going on behind the scenes, and those changes happening sometimes hourly. And so coordinating those efforts and moving forward, there was great appreciation during the pandemic for those pieces. Another highlight is that the team is actively implementing a variety of digital and printed and other communications tactics that are very important with key audiences, both internal and external. And there were some that got great praise, which includes the Compass magazine, which some members of staff and community have said they can't wait for, and they do read it cover to cover.
Very high praise. I've literally never heard anybody say something like that about a government publication.
Yes. Videos, and that social media is growing and improving. And there are others, other tactics that are using to elevate the district present and connection, because with communication, it's about two-way communication. It's about engagement. It's about relationship building and marketing that brand. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but there is a solid foundation of communication tactics that can be enhanced and expanded upon over time.
There are just a couple areas of focus for opportunities for advancement. You know, in this review, we did find some of the concerns regarding the communications department really had symptoms of larger systems issues. And so addressing those systems issues will help improve and support that important communication function. Also, it will help eliminate the siloing of work and that decision-making piece. And it improves that internal communications and supporting having the right people at the table to help with making the best decisions possible, which of course communication is an important function of, which will just improve the system overall. There is an area of focus as well as just with consistent messaging and the sequencing of messaging. So shoring those elements up to strengthen communication within the district.
By sequencing, we mean making sure, for instance, that administrators hear news first and they can help roll it out within their buildings, and then so that it's sort of you don't end up hearing about important district news from someone out in the community first. If you're a staff member, you get it first internally so that you can be a key communicator yourself.
Exactly. Internal, external. And then in general is ensuring that the communications department, connecting internally so folks know here's the role and responsibility of the communications team. And we understand that you're going through a strategic planning process this year, which is a wonderful opportunity to both use the communications team in that process, but then also to align communications function and role and develop that comprehensive communication plan aligned to that, which of course improves efficiency, clarity, and just make sure the district is moving forward together. And it's also an important opportunity for the communications team when we think of communications is this umbrella of support. For district communication, which includes two-way communication, that listening, relationship building, but then also that support for schools and school communication out to families. So when we're talking about sequencing, it's this opportunity for communications to be connecting individually with departments and schools to listen to needs, share what we do, and then develop those plans together so we continue to move forward. And another important element for opportunity is that focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion. And that is looking at the diverse community within Peninsula School District and making sure that we are targeting communication resources to the needs of geographic differences, but then also our more underserved families. Are we reaching our EL families? How can we target communication to support them? So those were some key highlights that we found. And J. Marie can add anything that I'm missing.
Nothing you missed. I think I appreciate the opportunity to kind of put a bow around some of those ideas that Leanna was sharing, because I'm particularly excited about the opportunity that you all have with your strategic planning and your communications planning. The timing of this and the fact that you all did a communications review at this point to really set yourself up to do both of those things in tandem, I think is just incredible. And I think you have a really quality team here to help support you in that effort. And as Leanna was saying, it's really part of what's so lovely about this is that some of the work that's necessary to do a good strategic plan is about community engagement. And as she was saying, making sure the right folks are aware of the process and have a chance to have their voice heard in that process. Your communications team is primed to help you identify your audiences and make sure they're fully represented. Then there's this interesting thing that comes back around the other side, that the work that they're going to do to help support the strategic planning process, some of those actual tactics that they do in that support become some of the content into the communications plan. And then also, almost always within a strategic planning process, there's some aspect of that strategic plan where in self-reflection we say we want to do a better job of community engagement, or we want to focus on a particular aspect of communications. It's almost always one of those areas of opportunity. And so to have that become clear, that can then be the driver to kind of how the communications plan gets formed. So the fact that it's a relatively new team, and the fact that this is a time to kind of get where there's a transition, we're all hoping and knocking on wood kind of to a new normal way of being, and that it's in the midst of this strategic planning process. It's just, I think it's really lovely timing to have made this investment in this review. And so I would just close out by saying the comprehensive report will be coming your way in the next week. And we just wanted to give you this kind of teaser towards it. And I would welcome ongoing dialogue and Q&A. So as you all dig into the report in depth, if it raises questions, know that Leanna and Jocelyn and I are available. We can dial in on a work session, or we can join into a phone call with your leadership team and just continue to support you as you implement these ideas. Any questions or comments?
Well, first off, thank you for the work you're doing. I think that it's always great for the school district and the board to have outside set of eyes coming in and looking at the district, unbiased and with no skin in the game for our school district, and just give us an honest assessment. School board and the school district is also working with other consultants right now as part of our visioning for the strategic plan. So having WASA here helping is just one more added bonus for us. And thank you for the accolades for the compass. And I'll give Chris Hagel a shout out, because I know he's done a lot of work on that. There's 295 school districts in the state. How many other school districts do you do this for, on a regular basis?
I am one of a cadre of folks that WASA leans on to organize these. So I have not in recent years participated in reviews except in communications. And so I can tell you this year we've got 3 going on. So Northwest ESD up in Anacortes is in the midst of a communications program review, and actually my hometown, Snohomish School District, is also in the closing stages of a communications review, as well as you all. And I think there's a dozen or more. I'm familiar with a number of technology and an HR review that's underway, and I think you all have another review as well. So it's a pretty common activity across the state, but it's still not as common as it should be, because I'm a big fan of process improvement and checking in. So, and this idea of the peer review of each other, I just think is really powerful.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, friends.
We'll look forward to the report.
Thank you so much.
All right, now the superintendent's report.
That seemed to go so fast. I just want to thank this team, and I want to thank our staff for being willing. When I first came in and talking with staff around systems and the board, one of the most important things that we can do is communicate well and tell our story. It is always a difficult thing. It is probably the #1 thing that we hear in all systems about communication. We can communicate better. We can, and I know I even stumble through my Twitter, so I always apologize in advance. I've never had a class. Maybe I should take one, J. Marie. Because these are things, the new technology comes so quickly, and it's like we're in the air flying, and then we're trying to use tools that we really probably have no business. We probably should have Caroline and her friends share with us best practices. But it is imperative that we, as we create a culture and we start to say, this is who we are, this is our strategic plan, this is what we believe about children, this is who we are for children, right? Students first, that we communicate that well, and that it's a two-way street. So I look forward to, some of you I know are gonna probably mention the strategic plan. It's very, very drafty, but I do have to say that communication will be key, and I want to thank them. In addition, we have a couple others, and if you would like those to come forward as well, those management reviews, I think that they are times where you can talk with other experts to get really kind of the picture of where we are. So they're valuable for me, they're valuable for you, but hopefully they're also valuable for the public. So thank you very much, and I know it's a long report, I'm sure. All right. So with that, I just have a few things that I just wanted to announce. I wanted to say that this is a short month, but it is a powerful month. This is Black History Month. February is Black History Month, which serves as a time to honor and reflect on Black Black people's important contributions, accomplishments, and leadership to our nation and to the world. And during this month, students across the district are learning and sharing about influential Black leaders, and also combining that with kindness and diversity. And I think this month is one of my very favorite. It's the time where we really have to think about the people that we love, and including all cultures and all students. I'd also like to announce that the Employment Training and Transition Community Transition Program, I had to write all this, ETT and CTP, it's their 6th annual talent show on Tuesday, February 15th at 11:30 at the Vaughn Civic Center. So I wanted to put that on people's minds. I wanted to thank our dance team, and I also wanted to thank our student voice today. It is wonderful to have students in here, and it's also wonderful to be thinking about things like assemblies and prom, because it's been a couple years. But what I'd like to do is really shine the light on the fact that as a school district, we have the honor and privilege from preschoolers all the way up to seniors to influence lives. So I think it's an important time, and it's an important thing that we in this meeting, and I want to thank you for allowing students to be able to come to the meeting and share in student voice. So we wish our dance team and all of our teams that are participating. We have our Pioneer Community Tour on March 1st from 4:30 to 6:30, and we would love to, this is an opportunity for all of the public. You don't have to have a child at the school. You can just go and tour with friends, family, your children. Pioneer Community Tour. Come and tour their beautiful facility. They already had the ribbon cutting ceremony last year, but because of COVID restrictions at that time, they were not able to open up the building. So the building will be open to all. There's also a Pioneer Interest Survey for the 22-23 school year, which opens this coming Monday on Valentine's Day. Interested families can go to Pioneer's website to complete the interest form between Monday, the 14th, and Tuesday, March 15th, so about a month at 4 p.m. If you have questions, families can call Pioneer.
What day is the tour?
The tour is March 1st, and we'll put that on your calendar, 4:30 to 6:30. And if that isn't enough, Artendale has their ribbon cutting and community open house on March 22nd, so that we could do that outside. And also, I believe that sod, grass is an issue. So we wanted to have some grass down so everybody doesn't have to muck through the mud. I also wanted to give you an exciting update to our Keep PSD Open Sub campaign. I'm so excited about this. So as of this week, we had 6 classified instructional support substitutes, which have been completely hired and are ready to work. So 6. And there's another 31, which are at some point in the hiring process. That is 37 of people that stepped forward and said, yes, we want to keep PSD open. Also, as of this week, 35 certificated substitutes have been completely hired and are ready to work. Okay, and I know, Carol, and there's another 34 on their way, working through the classrooms. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you so much, this community, the outpouring of response, whether you actually applied or you thought, or you just were giving good thoughts to us. I am really, truly humbled. I don't know another school district that, number one, asked, and number two, had just this outpouring of support. So amazing. I am happy to say, fingers crossed, things are much better. We believe that our staffing crisis is averted and that we are really in good standing. So thank you for everyone that stepped forward. And lastly, I just wanted to say, last night, we did receive some really great information. We are on, is it official? It's not official. Okay. We are on the road to being sister cities with Buda, Norway, And I received some information. The High North Center at Nord University has invited 2 of us to be part of the Washington and Alaska delegation to attend their international conference called Business in the Arctic. There will be young people from countries from Norway, Russia, Ukraine, Italy, China, US. We will be the US delegate, Canada and the Nordic countries, and we will be having dialogue and initiatives to strengthen the cooperation between Gig Harbor and Buda. We will be meeting with school officials. We will be exploring their outdoor preschools and outdoor kindergartens and looking at their CTE pathways that are around blue technology. I had to write all this down. And they have a new project called Arc Blue that is, we will be part of that. So more to come on that. I just want to thank the Norwegian, I want to thank Lisa Christensen from the Norwegian Honorary Consulate from Alaska, and there will be more to come. Thank you.
Thank you. That's exciting. Lots happening. Board discussion and comments. You want to start?
Sure, thanks. A couple things. I think for people that have been coming to the board meetings or watching over the past couple months, they can see all the great things that have been going on in the school district, the great celebrations we're having with communities and schools, and the money they're getting, and the site coordinators, and the work we're doing with our communications audits and the WASA, and there's just so many great things going on. In December and January, we had our SIP. We got to meet with all our principals and see all the great work that they're doing in spite of the pandemic, and the principals and their staff are just doing their very best in very challenging situations, and my hat just goes off on the great work they were doing. The one last month was just really, the one in December was great. Last month it was just so much information, and I think they learned a little bit from the one before, and so it was very helpful to see everything we're doing and at that level. So I really appreciated that. And that, that's why I was, really disappointed in the news that we got this week over the last couple of days from Superintendent Reichdahl and Governor Inslee. I was really hoping to have a mass burning party this weekend, and maybe they would come out yesterday and relax the indoor masking standards. I just really feel it's important that our communities and our students and our schools get back to some sense of pre-pandemic normal. So I was really disappointed that they didn't make that announcement yesterday. Hopefully soon. I think most everyone is sort of exhausted on having to do all these lockdowns, all these restrictions. In spite of that, I'm so super excited on our strategic plan. We got a lot of visioning going on with the WASA help. The board has been, they can talk on their own. I had a great meeting today with a consultant about some visioning for career and technical ed or vocational education if you want. I'm super excited for Kristen and Natalie to be heading to Buda for that delegation. Norway has some really interesting and innovative ways that they do their education, a lot different than us. And so one of the visions or the school board is for our strategic plan is to be one of the best school districts in the world. And so, we're innovative, we're thinking innovatively, creatively, forward thinking, and I'm really hoping that y'all come back for Norway with really some new ideas that maybe we can consider implementing in our school district and taking us to that next level so that school districts across the state will reach out to us and go, that's really cool what y'all are doing. And it's, you are the absolute right person for this job. Oh, and I told Gil today with Chuck, I said, you are like the Energizer Bunny. She is like a grant ninja, and there's so many grants that we haven't applied for yet, but we didn't have superintendents in the past that really knew how to write grants. And she is training her staff how to write grants, which brings more money to the school district, which is a good thing. And so I just applaud you, and you definitely were the right choice for the right time for the school district, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised at all to hear that report. Knowing Amy and the team, I think you guys are fantastic. And so there is so much happening in this district. It's hard to keep track of. And you guys do a great job. So I just can't thank you enough for the great job you're doing. We got 4 new schools out there. You know, as I sit back and reflect on what's happened in the last couple of years, we have done so much in this school district. And there's just so many moving parts that's happening. And hearing the report from Gig Harbor High School, it's like, wow. I'm really proud of what happens at the DUI simulations. I was part of that for many years, and having some personal experience in that, it's very touching, and I'm glad to hear that that's continuing on. We're going to sit down tonight and do some reviews of our superintendent, and I can't help but acknowledge I'm very proud of what we've done and where we're going, and I think we did hire the right person. So. Yeah. Well, just hearing what's going on here with all the reviews and everything that you're bringing on, it's great that we can reflect, that we can open our doors and look, having WASA come in and then Gil come in looking at the CTE programs. That is a great reflection to be able to open up and say, look at us, you know, not really knowing what's going to come out of that, but to be candid and to open and be open like that is really the growth that we need to see. I was really very enthused talking to Gil today about the CTE programs. We have a long ways to go, but I understand kind of how we got to where we are, and so really look forward to where we go in the next couple of years. When I look at what we've done in 2 years, I think we can accomplish a lot in the next couple. Real proud to be part of this team, all of us, the community, the staff. That's all I got to say. I'm jet lagged.
All right. Yeah, there is a lot going on. I'm still very much in the trying to take it all in and learning our systems, our programs, who's who around the district. One of the biggest eye-opening experiences I had last week was I attended my first parent district council meeting. And if you want to have your mind blown about how much stuff is going on, holy cow. So I'd never attended one of those, but it was a really wonderful opportunity, and I'm glad our district has that for the parent reps, kind of PTAs and VPOs from each school to get in the room together and share ideas about what's going on at each of the schools. And to make it even better, we actually had both of our Gig Harbor High School and Peninsula High School principals there talking about registration. Oh my goodness. As a parent with 2 young children, knowing that this is where they're going, it just impressed upon me in the biggest way just how many offerings we have at the school, and the scope and the scale of our courses are mind-blowing. So at my high school, we had 3 AP courses. That's it. And I'm hearing these courses that are being offered at every single one of these schools, and I'm just like, my jaw was on the floor. So I just was really impressed and really thrilled to, learn more. And one of the things I did take away from that too was, that networking opportunity was so important. I'm really hoping that maybe we can start to develop something like that for our community partners. So we have our communities and schools, we have our ed foundations, so just the chance to all be in the room together, breaking down the silos that we were talking about with the comms, I think would be great, because it really just so much can come out of those opportunities. Norway, can't say enough about how excited I am about that, the sister city relationship. I think what strikes me the most is, it seems like it's this far off land, like what possibly, could we learn there? But when you talk about, this blue economy, this idea that, it's been around for a while, but it's starting to gain traction. We are so perfectly poised here in Gig Harbor, the maritime city, with our, our legacy of the fishing industry and things, to really, with our CTE programs, talk about the timing of the opportunities to see what you guys can learn from what they're doing over there, because I think a lot of us know that the outcomes in Norway, their educational outcomes are best in the world. So I'm really excited to hear what you bring back from there. And one of the other places I'll put in a little plug that maybe, pay attention, not just CTA and obviously outdoor preschool. I could go on and on about that. That just wonderful opportunity, developmentally for children to be outside learning in their native state, where children want to be, but also, there's models around here locally to look at too, that like Tiny Trees up in Seattle, which partners with their parks. It's huge cost savings too, right? So that financial barrier, we can really, I think, help chunk away when we look innovatively like at outdoor preschools. But the other thing I would love to learn a little bit more about is what do they do for their special needs students, for inclusion and for things like that. I had a wonderful chance with John Yellowlees to do a Zoom where we're starting to explore potentially looking at other districts and how they're doing a little bit, pushing the boundaries a little bit more with their blending programs for their inclusion for their special needs students. And I'm really excited to see where he starts learning with that. I had my two nephews were a part of that program up in Shoreline, and I can't say enough good things about the benefits that it, the two-way benefits of these kind of programs. And I am hopeful that when you guys are in Norway, you'll be able to check some of that stuff out too with your busy schedules. And I think that's really it, just still in learning mode. Have several more meetings next week with people trying to figure out who's who and what's what, and
good luck.
Keep it all filling up. I filled up one of these pads already. I'm on pad number 2, so yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I will, my notes are all over the place, but I want to address the Norway thing and thank the board for supporting that, thank this community for supporting it. We are obviously very excited. I will share that I lived in the city of Bodø for 2.5 years or so with my family, and my children had an opportunity to attend the schools that we will be visiting. And a series of coincidences kind of came together, and this is how we came to pick Bodø to be our sister city. It very closely matches the size of Gig Harbor. We have the same fishing and maritime history. We have a local airport that we're looking at connecting with as well. But the school opportunity there is just something that we were so fortunate to participate in. And Preston and I early on shared a love of outdoor preschool, and I said, yes, and let's look at some of these other places that do it better than anyone else in the world. So as we aspire to be the best in the world, we kind of have to take a look at our competition, I think. So I think it's going to be a fantastic trip. And to your point, when we were talking about developing sister cities and connecting preschools specifically, we were talking with the president of the university there, and there's a teacher university, and he did an administrative internship at Stanford, and his children went to American preschool. And he said exactly that. We have a lot to learn from the United States about how to be better at inclusion and how to serve our special needs students. So they're excited to partner with us as well and learn from us. So it really is a two-way conversation. So excited about that. Moving on from that, I do want to recognize our counselors for Counselor Appreciation Week. I know last year we took an opportunity to read their names out loud, and I wish we could do that every time because they worked so hard, and this year especially have supported our students through your typical needs and then everything else that has come with it. And You also mentioned registration coming up for high schools. They do that as well. So they are busy, and we are so appreciative of the work that they do. Super excited, as is everyone, just to hear about all the wonderful things going on. And I decided to pull out the district calendar and try to hit one event for each sport at each of our schools. And I don't think there's enough time for everyone to go to all of it. So I did get to hit the senior night at the ladies Seahawk basketball game last week. So that was so fun. I think we lost by 1. I think it was 56-55, but they put together a great game, great teammates there. I think that's it. I'll just stop there. Thanks.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick comments. As I've said many times, the last few years, really all of my experience, very brief, on the board with the combination of an interim superintendent and a pandemic, at times has felt like when you're riding in a car and the driver says, "Take the wheel, I'm going to take my coat off," and you're trying to steer for the driver while they do whatever they're doing, and you're just trying to keep the car on the road, or without disaster.
I think we should address that at auto safety.
Which is, by the way, you should never do that. Don't ever steer for the driver in a moving car. It's very bad. But and at the same time, we managed to build schools and do some amazing things. But at times, it just felt like we were just trying to keep the car on the road. And now it's just with the combination of hiring you and just bringing in. I've loved these reviews and the both the communications and meeting with Gil about CTE, and just really getting outside input and being vulnerable to how can we do this better? How can we get to where we did the best in the world? What's what are some ideas, and just allowing that. And you just very quickly, I love that you're just not afraid to, well, let's do it. Now it feels like we really are going somewhere. And so that's been super exciting, I think, for everyone. And to that end, or with that, the 100-day plan, which we've been involved in, of course, and talking about in the strategic plan, but actually got to hear you be interviewed the other day for the first time, kind of beginning to roll it out and explain it, and looking forward to what
that plan will be out shortly, and everyone will be, it just is being attractive. It's with the communications people, so it looks good.
Spruced up. Just, I can't remember if I mentioned to you guys that it's been fun to you've just provided so many opportunities for bettering ourselves as a board, and whether it's with books for us to read or whatnot. And she introduced me to some previous board presidents in other nearby districts, and kind of were able to mentor me and give me some suggestions on how to, just do this the best way we can. And so it's all the new resources, and it just brings energy, and also I think just a push to excellence and helps us see how we can get there. So I appreciate that. I am excited for what lies ahead. I want to note that, again, that the next meeting we canceled the February 24th meeting, if anyone had that on their calendar, because it is during midwinter break. And the board is going to have an executive session tonight, so we are going to head into executive session for approximately 30 minutes in accordance with RCW 4230-110 in order to evaluate the performance of a public employee. Executive sessions are closed to the public, and no action will be taken, and then we will adjourn the meeting following the executive session. Thank you.